Welcome to the most important podcast you are listening to right now. The A Show with April Hunter and Aron Stevens.
Hello, hello, hello. I believe we are live on Twitch. We are scratching that itch. Forgive any technical difficulties because this is our first time live on Twitch. I was actually right now trying to retweet April to let everyone know that we're live on Twitch, which let's see if I can do this correctly.
Aron, we're not virgins anymore.
I know.
You guys are taking our virginity today.
We're no longer Twitch virgins. So just thank you for joining us. Number one, if you are joining us live on Twitch, if you're not, thank you for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. This is the A Show. This is the host of the A Show, April Hunter, and I am her lowly co-host. We just pretty much talk about everything on the show. We say we're not going to talk about wrestling, but it always kind of comes back to some kind of wrestlingism. But we have talked about everything from grief to spirituality to solar power. We cover it all. So yeah. April, what do you got for us?
Yeah, to dating, to having kids or not having kids. To, yeah, we that was a good one. Yeah, we got some interesting responses back on our Patreon page. And if you guys are listening to this because there's audio only on Podbean, you can go over to Patreon and watch us. Now, I know you guys are live, but you can watch us, all of it, on patreon.com, The A Show. So we also have a lot of little snippets during the week that we release as far as, I do adjust the tip. And Aron will be doing Aron's thoughts. So we add a lot on there. And if you support
Quotations of illumination.
Okay. And we're super grateful for the support so that we can keep going. So thank you for joining us today. And we were asked to cover a few things this week. Some of you joined me on Twitter with the the cancel culture discussion. I know Aron feels a bit strongly about that, and we will get to that in a minute. But first, we want to wish everybody a pre-show sláinte, Happy Irish Day, happy discrimination against the Green Day. So, we're trying to rock out the green.
Yeah, this was the closest thing to a green shirt I had. So it's a Sanctum Secretum. Go follow on Twitter, Instagram. Go buy their stuff. It's awesome. Oh, Alexa, hi. How are you?
Hey,
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Hey, you guys can join us today. Yeah. So, I actually found this dress that I got pre-boob job when I had reduction, and I was trying to smash them in there and put some extra stuff in there to kind of fluff it back out again because it doesn't quite fit. So,
hey, looking good.
Made it work, I think. And also I wanted to mention that we both have, before I forget, because I get involved in these discussions with you guys, we both have a couple of live appearances coming up really, really shortly too. Aron has NWA in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, March 21st. That's actually this Sunday for NWA Back for the Attack. So I'll be getting back in the ring. That should be interesting. So, yeah.
I believe that I have I'm going to say Comic-Con, but it's actually a horror convention in Tampa called Tampa Bay Screams. And that is Friday and Saturday. So you guys can come out and see us live if you're in the area and hang out with us. So one of the things that I got into, one of the two major things I got into a discussion with people this week on Twitter and Patreon was that there was a cancel culture comment made through Fox News. And hi, ISV is 1995. Hi. So we Fox News has now said that Generation X should rescue us, this is their words, from cancel culture, which I found to be hysterical because I am Gen X. I'm a late Gen X, but still I'm in that Gen X. And I remember that the people from that era the boomers and the millennials and the Gen Z are all always at this, while the Gen X are back here like this. Yeah, we got this. We're good. We're okay with quarantine. We know how to do this. So
that's White Tiger vodka, by the way.
That is
Irish,
White Tiger. That is White Tiger from
with every
Aron.
bottle, it goes to rescuing animals. There's a portion of the proceeds goes to rescuing wildlife, so that's a big deal. And by the way, I met that White Tiger. Her name is Zyka, I believe.
Awesome. She worked with she's the one that worked with Mike Tyson in what was that bachelor party film? I know they rent the tigers out for the movies.
Yeah, you know what? If it was a White Tiger,
the Vegas one,
it was either Gira or Zyka.
Yeah.
Chances are, because I think they're like the only White Tiger people. There may be one other person, but sorry, I digress.
Okay, that's okay. You guys can look this little bite up, and I think I speak for all of Gen X when I say eat a dick, because I feel like, cancel culture started with our parents, and they thought we were degenerates and slackers, and they were the first ones to start labeling our games and our music and our films with, parental advisory stickers. They were the first ones to really start censoring, as far as I know, everything we did. And then we had Tipper Gore at the front line of that. So now these people have made a bed that they don't want to lie in, because cancel culture is fine and dandy until it happens to you. So they're up in arms about Dr. Seuss. They're up in arms about their shows being canceled, which is understandable. I'm a big free speech advocate. But it's funny to me that they think that Gen X is going to rescue them when they were the ones that started this ball rolling downhill. Yeah. Well, I know you have strong opinions about this.
No, absolutely. It's funny because, when we say cancel culture, we're talking about a very, very broad spectrum of issues, right? So where if something, it goes against and I've said this before on here, like the objective moral truths, to which, I'd like to say all, and I do kind of say, I'll say all, but in parentheses, most people, they know, discrimination is wrong, intolerance is wrong, things like that, right? To harass someone and enforce yourself sexually on someone is wrong. Like it really isn't up for debate. So these objective moral truths, if something goes against those objective moral truths, right, to hold the person or persons accountable for it and say, you know what, it's not okay. And if a piece of literature is deemed as racist or sexist or anything like that, to just simply say, look, it's not okay. To the individual, to say, you know what, no, like what you're doing is wrong, like a Matt Lauer situation. What you're doing is wrong. You don't deserve to be in this position anymore. Absolutely. Like I am for that, because it means you're standing up for what you believe in. You're holding true to those objective moral truths. However, I do think that a lot of times people are so quick to where when any inkling of an accusation or something can be completely contorted and twisted, and everyone's like, oh yeah, just cancel that. And there needs to be a line drawn. I mean, there absolutely needs to be a line in the sand drawn to where, like, if something is proven, right? If let's say 37 people accuse a person of sexual harassment or whatever like that, chances are, there's probably something going on.
There's probably a pattern there. There's probably a pattern.
If one person does, and let's just say, I'll use this as an example, like this one person's job was in jeopardy and they wanted to accuse their coworker of sexual harassment in order to keep their job or whatever. And it's, been proven multiple times in court that they have no evidence. In fact, there's evidence to the contrary. I think we should let that rest and let the accused go free because he did nothing wrong. He or she did nothing wrong. That to me is where, like, the cancel culture, there needs to be room for forgiveness when necessary. And even I say this, for redemption. That doesn't mean Matt Lauer should be back on television, right? But maybe if genuinely, and I'm not talking like, oh, I'm sorry, like that kind of, BS celebrity apology. If he genuinely feels remorse, if he, whatever kind of twisted thing he had going on in his brain, if there can be correction, I think we need to have room for forgiveness. That does not necessarily mean that I know I'm being redundant, but like we elevate them back to the status they were. But let's, implement justice, but also leave room for mercy. That's my thing.
And I agree with you. I'm going to add a couple other things in there. Mm-hmm. When we cancel our literature and our shows, we are doing ourselves a huge disservice. Mm-hmm. I went to, this is first off, America is funded and founded on the on the principles of free speech. And that means that you have to respect what other people have to say, mm-hmm. as well as your own. You have to, because when it comes to your turn, they have to respect you. So my degree is in writing for entertainment. And we were always told, you tell the truth using fiction. So the more hard-hitting something is, the more truthful it is, the more likely it is to be relatable and embraced. Mm-hmm. And now I know so many writers that are scared to death to actually go there and tell their stories. I mean, I literally just gave up writing when all this started happening, because I was just, for two things. One is, COVID brain. But the second was, it's like, I feel like I can't write anything, because a lot of the stuff I write is really dark and really edgy. I write about things like rape and discrimination, and everybody's like, oh, you can't touch any of that. And I'm like, why the fuck can't you? This happens. And the way that sometimes we understand it and can empathize with it is to get into this character, love them, hate them, and experience it through them. Now you start canceling all this stuff, and we're going to become a less empathetic society. We're not going to learn. Mm-hmm. Look back at To Kill a Mockingbird. Why was this banned? Why was this book banned forever? Look at the banned books. I mean, we are a knee-jerk society, and it's so freaking ridiculous. Mm. And it just, you ban something and it makes it more popular. It just moves it underground. Mm-hmm. It's just like it's like drugs. Mm-hmm. You go take the countries that have drugs legal, and they don't have a meth problem. They don't have an underground problem with drugs. Mm-hmm. They've legalized it. They've made it boring, and people use it. They don't abuse it. Legalize everything. Let people have access to everything. Let them be adults and make their own decision. We like to tell people what to do, how to live. And if you don't live the way I live, if you don't see the things the way I see them, you're the problem. You're fucked up. And that is the wrong way to be. Okay, that's my first point. The second point is, when we're dealing with things like, no, I'm not saying Matt Lauer exactly, but we are dealing with things like people who are, I don't know, 70 something years old, 80 years old, and they've said something, they've mm-hmm. uttered the N-word 17 times. There's a video of it somewhere along the way. How are you not surprised? This person's almost 100 years old. Times were different back then, and people seem to forget that. They're like measuring time according to the 27 years that they've lived on this earth. They're not remembering how it was, mm-hmm. 65 years ago when this person grew up, and the things that they saw and what they dealt with and what was legal back then. Mm-hmm. Women have only been able to vote for a while. We've only held jobs for a while. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. She only got a job like partway through us growing up. So, I mean, I'm the first generation of working women, me. Mm-hmm. So things were different. The rule of thumb, we use this word all the time.
Yes,
rule of thumb.
Yes.
Do you know what the people use words and they don't even know the origin. The rule of thumb meant that you could beat your wife as much as you wanted to, as long as whatever you're beating her with was not wider than your thumb. Okay. So like we need to know the history of what's going on. We need to put ourselves in these people's shoes and in their time frame and in the way that life is, because someday this is going to be us. The way that we live today, what we find acceptable, and our society, the way we are right now, is one day, 50 years from now, going to be considered morally reprehensible in some ways. And everything we have now is on video. And if you are the first one, karma, man, karma. If you are the one to advocate cancel culture, if you are the one pushing for the lack of free speech and the banning of it, if you are the one that is behind all of this, it will come back to you. And these things that you're saying today are going to surface in 30, 40, 50 years, and it is going to affect you. So you need to watch the things that you're laying down now, because we are a country of laws, not morals, and we set precedents, and you need to be really careful about the precedents you're setting in this country.
Yes.
That's what I think.
100% agree. I mean, the one thing about society, and you could say, oh, it evolves or devolves, but it changes, right? Nothing stays the same. What was acceptable 10 years ago isn't acceptable today in terms of what words you can say, what kind of jokes you can make, right? It evolves. And if it evolves, if we can change in a way where we are more accepting, we are more tolerant, and we genuinely don't use words that offend people, and we are a little more understanding, that's wonderful. But we also have to take into consideration that in the past, if people, and by people, I mean society, everyone didn't know that this word or this phrase or whatever was not okay, then okay, like we give them the right to say, okay, we've now evolved past that. Let's change. Because if you really want to make a better society, if you really want to be more accepting and more tolerant, you have to take into consideration the people that sometimes didn't know. And it's your obligation to show them a better way. Now, you can't, if someone's trapped in a room, you can't say, hey, there's the door, and then literally lock it and don't give them a chance to get out, And what unlocks that door, it's forgiveness. It's acceptance of like, okay, this is the way it was. This is a culture they grew up in. But then they have the opportunity to walk through the door and to understand like, okay, this word is not okay. This phrase is not okay. This way of thinking is not okay. And I agree with you 100% when the difference is now we document everything, every single thing, like in our social media, all that. So you know what? I hope and I pray that the future generations are more forgiving than some of us now.
Yeah, and I'll leave off with something on my end. I personally think we need to toughen the shit up. These words are just words. I think swear words are just the salt and pepper of the English language, and we are language matters, yes, but I think we need to understand that these are words, and words don't necessarily inflict the damage we give them the credit for. And what I mean by that is that we spend a lot of time and energy getting offended over swears and not offended over important things that matter. Like, I don't know, people sleeping on the streets and stuff. Not to sound like a tree hugger, but or over the fact that we are in 2021 and we barely are using any solar energy. I mean, over the fact that we're being told that the birth rate is low and everybody we know is announcing on Zoom that they're pregnant and we're headed for another baby boom. So, I mean, we're being told we're not upset over the fact that our news, we can't actually get real news. We're being opinions are being passed off as news. We're not upset over the fact that 6 corporations control everything we see, read, and hear. But we are upset over swear words, and we will go out of our way to make that known. And telling somebody to fuck off and fuck you has never hurt them. It has never caused them any pain. These are not bad words. Bad words are things like divorce, cancer, Parkinson's, diabetes. You tell somebody, fuck you, you fucking jerk. It's like, la la la, they just go on their merry way. You tell somebody you have cancer, their entire life is about to fall apart, and everybody around them is going to fall apart too, because it just changes everything. So we need to like shift our thinking about the weight and the value that we are giving words. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to like understand, okay, these are just words. This is just acting. These are just shows. This is just entertainment. We need to get over ourselves and stop taking things so freaking seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, starving people on the street. Like, that's people homeless, you know.
Yeah,
like
veterans,
kids,
you know.
Yeah, kids that are hungry. Like, there's a lot more that I think we can be directing our energy to. And yeah, I am in 100% agreement with that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was one thought I had this week. Here's another one that it's like a 180-degree turn. But speaking of eco stuff, why are we still making dog poop bags that are plastic? I mean, okay, so we're making this big movement for water bottles, right? To remove water bottles. It's like huge thing. But we're still making compostable dog bags optional. Like, people have to go out of their way to find them, or they have to pay more for them. Why is this still even being made? Why are they being made? It's like, honestly, I mean, if you look at how many shits people are putting in a plastic bag every day, that's comparable to water bottle. But like, why are we taking something that by its very nature is compostable and putting it into something that's not compostable?
It's a very shitty situation.
It is a shitty situation. Why are we not talking about this? Like, the amount of water bottles are bad, but poop bags are good if they're plastic. Like, let's bring this one to the table. The amount of times I've seen people complain online about their neighbors leaving, the poop bags. I just want to say, why don't you redirect that to making compostable bags available widely to the companies and making them available to all the neighborhoods? Yeah. Some people have, we have water fountains everywhere, and, we're getting better about that. Maybe we should have a movement for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a thought.
Absolutely. Yeah. Makes sense.
Just a thought.
That makes sense. Yeah. I never really thought about that. So that's a good point.
Yeah, I have.
Very, very good point.
Watch people turn into like Karens on Nextdoor all the time. I cannot stand it. So,
no, I'm not on Nextdoor. I don't do that. Don't
go there. It'll make you hate your neighbors.
Oh, really?
Them.
Oh, yeah.
It's the most petty thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. I can tell you stories. Actually, I will tell you a story.
Oh. Sorry, no, go ahead, because I do have a Nextdoor story.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so in case you don't know what Nextdoor is, and like I said, don't go there if you don't want to have your day ruined or your life ruined, basically. Nextdoor is a neighborhood site for people that it's supposed to be used for emergencies, like boil water alerts, lost pets, and things like that. But people define emergencies different. So people will receive these push notifications for emergencies such as, this was the latest one, a woman went to a park, and apparently kids had done chalk drawings of penises and boobs. So it gets better. It gets better. So, right. Thank you. Okay. So her 6-year-old son was exposed to this. And she took pictures of it and posted it all over Nextdoor. This was an emergency, apparently. And it spurned an entire thing. And I'm just like, lady, get over yourself. Did you seriously post this? So I thought to myself, I'm like, why didn't you, if it was offensive, why didn't you report it? Why didn't you take a damp cloth and wipe it down so the next child didn't have to be exposed to it? Why didn't you laugh it off like everybody else does?
Chalk on the sidewalk.
Yep. No, actually, it was on the doors. Somebody chalked on the doors at the men's room.
Yeah. Well.
So yeah. No,
yeah, it's just...
not the way you're thinking. I mean, it was legit chalk. It was real chalk. Oh. Yeah. Wait, and they wrote the word steamy taint.
Okay, so this was done by either probably a 13 or 14-year-old.
Yep.
So yeah, or a 35-year-old with a sense of humor. I mean, I don't know, but
it's only something you would do. The writing was a little bad. The handwriting was better than yours, though.
No, so what wasn't me? Thank you. I'm out of the equation.
So the comments were it was like she was looking for validation for her indignation. And it was shocking how many people are like, these parents of these kids are horrible. They do a terrible job. Some guys like, these kids should be incarcerated. I'm like,
what?
I'm like, are you people serious here? Like, you're going to tell me that, first off, kids are kids. They're all going to do it. And you're never going to know that your kids are doing it. They're probably your kids. We did it. I did it. My brother and I did it.
You want a pee-pee? Like,
oh my God. Yeah. And I did it with fucking spray paint. So I didn't do it with chalk. So, I mean, we also soaked the fountain. Sorry, you guys. That was us. Yeah. And we turned out okay.
Kids, you know, like, and that's the thing. Okay, look, if they get caught, yes, you don't do that again. You get grounded for a week or two and stuff like that. Yeah. But like, I mean, yeah, come on. Like when adults start to like, it just, I agree. It's looking for validation. So rewind about 2 years ago, it was Thanksgiving. Okay. I live in a very, very small town. Very small town where like I'm related to half the people in this town. That probably is like, it's maybe more like a third, but that's not an exaggeration. So my family, because now again, if you're listening in California, this is not okay, because if we light a match, our state burns down. And I've lived through the fires, not cool. But in Massachusetts, when it's snowy and rainy and you have the legal permits to do so, you know, fires are okay. And fireworks sometimes, if it's legal. So
it's legal everywhere but your state, I think.
Well, so Massachusetts or Connecticut, where I live, we're gonna blur that line. So after our second meal on Thanksgiving, we decided to go into the fireworks stash and light some fireworks. Now I'm not talking bottle rockets. I mean we go big.
You blew some shit up, huh?
We go big. And we're just outside and we're lighting fireworks and it was great. And all of a sudden, this lady who is my cousin, they're on Nextdoor. Oh my God, I just heard gunshots off Route so-and-so. There's something going on. And it's like, what? No. Like, no. Like, and then everyone's like, yes, I heard them too. Oh my God, is everyone okay? Like, no. And the thing is, the way everything's situated, no, it was clearly fireworks. You could probably tell because the sky lit up, you know. And so yeah, that was my one experience with Nextdoor because my cousin was on it. She's like, Aaron, look, this is what so and so's saying, and I'm just, God, just leave it alone, you know. Pretty much the whole town knows it's us.
Yeah.
So
that brings us back to the whole: if you don't live the way I live and you don't see things the way I see them, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, but they do live the way we live. That's the thing. I think it was just they were using it to, if you think it's gunshots, call the police. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I mean, it was just it was annoying. That's all. It was just annoying.
Yep. I feel you. I feel you. Mm.
Nextdoor should be used for lost dogs and pets and things like that. Nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. Gas line breaks. You know, I'm selling my sofa. Like, stop. Don't use it as a social network. Get on Facebook for that. Don't use it for your crappy ass emergency. That's not an emergency. Fuck off. Seriously, that's abuse. That is abuse. Don't use it for politics. No place for it there. Yeah, I saw. We had a hurricane here in Florida, and somebody's catamaran was damaged. Now, if you're not familiar with a catamaran, like a basic catamaran is usually $250,000. So it was off the waters where I live, and the repairs for this particular sailboat have got to be brutally expensive. So people were up in arms. You know, a couple people really took to attack. That's the thing. It's like a bully and attack situation on Nextdoor. They really took to attacking this sailboat situation about how it's, you know, an eyesore and they should move it. And the city had already said the waters are, you know, we have no jurisdiction there. And they're just like, it's, you know, we got to move it. Then they do this all the time. You know, like terror. They always wrap everything in America in terrorism or the kids to ban it. They're like, it's dangerous. Somebody's going to get hurt there. It's dangerous. You can't see. And it's like, if you can't see a catamaran, like really with a light on it, like what is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with people that they have to tell people what to do and what to live? And the owner, I didn't even know the owner. I didn't know the owner. The owner actually wrote to me and said, "Thank you for sticking up for me. We are working on it, but it's taken us longer. We had more damage than we thought. We're working on it, but nobody wants to hear that because it's not instantly getting done." I felt sorry for him. I'm just like, God, these people, like, I hope their assholes fall off. I really do. I hope they forget where they are and fall down the steps.
It's again, and I think we go back to that, like we were talking about cancel culture, right? To where whatever it is, and obviously it has escalated 2020, and I don't know if that's because of quarantine and where we have this innate ability where we lost control to a degree, where we were locked down. And so is it a way to exercise some control in the sense of like, you can point the finger and say, no, this is wrong. This is, and then with other people sharing your opinion, you in essence feel justified. So I don't know. Again, I think the issue is, and I've said this before, and I don't want to get too like whatever, but philosophical, but the answer is halfway between justice and mercy, right? We need to enact justice, but we also need to take into consideration, do unto others. And like, what if you were in their shoes? And we need to have more understanding. We need to have more patience. And you know what? God forbid people get together and try to help them fix it. If it's such a big deal. I think
I suggested that as I'm like, if it's really offensive, why don't we all get together and offer to help out?
Yes, common sense. Spend an afternoon doing that.
Like one person said they went down there and talked to them. I'm like, God,
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I again a little less selfish.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh.
So,
White Tiger Vodka.
After talking about some heavy topics,
with every sip, you're helping animals, ladies and gentlemen. White Tiger Vodka. It is by far. I'm going to record this because I actually sent April that bottle.
Yes,
I know the owners.
Yes,
so
yes.
I'm gonna, and April has also
Twitch 23. So, cancel culture has become the doomsday machine. Star Trek. Somebody just wrote that.
Yeah.
So
April has also because I'm gonna video and I'm gonna post this. So look, I'm videoing this right now. Where April, we have our White Tiger Vodka again. Oh, there you go, right there. And again, with every sip, you're helping animals. So there you go. Yeah. Look at that, White Tiger Vodka, and it's smooth. I will say
it is. I don't even need a chaser.
No, there you go.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Yes.
You don't have it in Germany, Alex. Well, you need to get it in Germany. You need to ask your people for it.
Yeah. Now,
do you stuff für einen Scheiße? Huh?
Yeah. No, do you think, and here's another thing, right? And we have, this is great. Like, I love this. We have an international audience too.
Yeah.
Again, it's funny because every time I've gone abroad, and I say abroad, even like in Canada, people are not as sensitive as they are here in the United States. Like, it's much more accepting.
No.
To where
I freaking love Germany.
Oh, Germany. Yes.
It just came out. Sorry. I love that place.
You and I are very much on the same page. Yes. I am a big fan of Germany. And God, the food there is so good.
Yeah, I like France too. Speaking of food,
the bread was harder than I thought in France. I will say that, but
you're American. You probably got the shitty bread.
Like I had to get used to it. It was like that. What was the movie where they're? God, I forget. It was a comedy, and they were like using baguettes to have a sword fight.
I don't know if I saw that. Sounds very Monty Python though.
It was in that vein, yeah, but no, France is amazing. I've shown you the picture before, like the autograph signing I did in Paris once, where it was weird because France, they for some reason love the intellectual savior character.
Yeah.
And like this wasn't like over time where like through hard work they kind of got it. No, it was like the second I rolled in France, I was a huge baby face. And like that one time when I had that autograph signing in Paris, there was like 5,000 people. It was something ridiculous where I was blown away. I was going like, whoa, okay. So that it was pretty cool. It was like I've always had such a great experience in France, too. So I absolutely adore French culture and the French people.
Yeah, I worked over there quite a bit.
I haven't had, honestly, a bad experience anywhere. Like going over, like honestly, and I'm thinking about this, where from South Africa, I mean, Dubai, Saudi Arabia. I mean, my experience in Saudi Arabia was very positive.
Yeah,
very positive.
I think I'm supposed to go to Dubai this summer with Chick Cullen with a Scottish company.
Oh, cool.
So we'll say it'll be my first time in the UAE. So
is it a wrestling appearance?
Yeah. So kind of stoked.
I think someone reached out to me.
I totally want to wear a hijab, and I'm going to wear a totally fancy one too.
Yeah, no, someone reached out to me about that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
You should do it.
Yeah, we could do the A show from Dubai.
We should.
Yeah. Yeah. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me.
So
yeah.
Mais oui, j'adore français.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, France. France would be great. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, if we keep going the way we're going, is 20 years from now, drinking on St. Patrick's Day, is that going to be offensive?
There won't be a St. Patrick's Day because someone will have decided that it was racial discrimination against the Irish. And Lucky Charms will be banned as well. So enjoy it while you can. They'll take the leprechaun off.
Well,
collect the boxes. Well, and by the way, Cold Stone Creamery has a freaking Lucky Charms ice cream out right now. Just letting you know. Letting you know, it's full of marshmallows and it's green.
Wow, very cool. And you know what?
I know.
Good for Lucky Charms, and that was it a couple years ago that they were like, all right, look, we get it. You want more marshmallows? That's what we're doing. Right. And good. You know what? Good for them. I appreciate that. I can get with that. And I used to love cereal so much. Like I was a big Golden Grams.
Yeah.
Golden Grams Cinnamon Toast Crunch was awesome.
Yeah. Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yes. Yes. God, there's so many good breakfast cereals out there.
Fruity Pebbles. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wasn't a big Fruity Pebbles guy, believe it or not.
Really?
No. Cookie Crisp was my jam for a hot minute, but it just kind of went away.
About Grape Nuts?
No, because they are neither grape nor a nut. The name is
you warm those up. You let the milk soak in forever till they turn into like a mush, and you warm them up, and you put some honey on them. Oh my god!
Really? Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I put them in yogurt sometimes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm just like not a fan of the false advertising. Again, it is neither a grape nor a nut. So don't mess with me like that, because, I enjoy walnuts and almonds and peanuts and cashews, and I enjoy grapes as well. And I enjoy grape juice. I enjoy actual grapes. I enjoy grape jelly. So they're two positives, right? Don't mislead me like that. Call them something else, like anything but grape nuts. You know what I mean?
That's true. Why do they call them grape nuts? That's so weird. Like of all the names you could pick, like
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe hard, crunchy things that might destroy your teeth until they soak in was already taken.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Grape Nuts, gravel, and sand for the day. Fred. Yeah. Hey, Fred. Look, I'm touching my hair. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. He's the one that made me hold up my sign, and my hair is fabulous. Stop touching it. No, Fred's my buddy. He actually got me hooked on. Thank you for getting me hooked on HelloFresh. Now I'm like a regular there. So
awesome.
I got totally addicted to HelloFresh. Like he sent me a free box, and I meant to do it like one time. I'm like, free box of HelloFresh. I'll just take advantage of this free food and never do it again. Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck. It was like the best food ever. And when you live alone, I'll admit I've gotten kind of bad about cooking for myself because cooking for one just isn't like, I don't know. It's easy to nuke something, or just pick through your refrigerator, So, well, HelloFresh has like these amazing gourmet, super, I don't know. You can do like, you could like, I had pineapple salsa chicken tacos the other day, and you do like a black bean rice bowl, or And just different really amazing things like brown butter steaks and roasted carrots and potatoes, like things that I don't normally do. And that's just an example. So you get 3 meals a week, right? It's about $60. And if it's just you, it's about, you get 2 servings per meal. That's 6 good, high quality, like organic meals for $10 a piece. And you don't have any waste. Like you don't have to go out and buy the fig and prosciutto enough for like a whole family. And it just sits in your fridge after you're done. Like you get just the right amount with the ciabatta rolls and, so here we are months later. I'm still doing it.
Nice. Very cool. Very, very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So thanks, Fred. If I got a fat ass, it's because of you.
No, because you have just the right amount, right? It's all about portion control.
They do actually give you portion control. You would probably starve. For me, it's good. And then
it's been weird, right? So like with NWA coming back, where I'm like, okay, 2020, I really didn't go to the gym because the gyms were closed, and my diet was not the best. So I'm like, well, got to get back in shape. So I went vegetarian for about 2 weeks, and this combined with like lifting heavy again, it was pretty brutal. So it was last Thursday, I think I just bought a big steak and like cooked it up. I had like 4 eggs that I scrambled up with. I mean, it was awesome, and I felt great. But
you're type O too, right? Type O blood.
I think so, yeah. So like to me, it's my happy medium to where. Oops, I dropped my pen. This pen's been a very good accessory for me.
Yeah, I told you that's why you have to have 2 on here so you don't disappear underneath the desk forever.
Yeah, well, there I go.
I dropped it on the very first show. That's what I learned.
So yeah, like to me, it's like not eating meat every day, but if it's once or twice a week, that I feel the difference. I feel good, and I do feel better because like eating meat every day, no, not so much. Not something that I think is going to ever be like a staple of my diet again, because I feel so much better. But again, meat in moderation, because as you said, everyone's blood type is different. And as hunter-gatherers, we couldn't go to the grocery store 1,000 years ago. So to have meat, it was, you had to work for it and then prepare it. So it was probably, I would say like maybe a once or twice a week thing, or who knows what it was. But yeah, like it was, to me, that this is my healthy medium. This is my balance.
Yeah, I do that too. If I eat 5 times a day, 4 of those meals are vegetarian. Yeah. Maybe 5, but I still eat meat. I'm like an omnivore.
Yeah.
But I'm a big proponent of eating for your blood type. Some people think that's a fallacy, but everybody I know that has done it ends up pretty healthy and in good shape.
Yeah.
So another person, I know we're at about 40 something minutes now, and somebody asked me to discuss trans women in athletics. And being a female who has been in an all-male, a male-dominated sport, and as you know, I was the only girl in our class.
Yeah.
So I know we're not really allowed to say certain things about trans women, but I'm gonna. Because I feel like I have earned that right through concussions and bruises and torn knees and everything else to say what I actually think on this particular subject. And I don't think that trans women should compete against natural born women. And here's why. It's not a discrimination thing. It is a scientific thing. And it has to do with testosterone. So unless you are willing to legally level the playing field and let natural born women take testosterone and steroids to bring them up to where trans women would be, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. And as someone who has worked in a predestined fake sport against men, and I have been in the ring with men and women, and I have beaten men. But to make no bones about it, at any given time, 80% of the guys I've been in the ring with could have taken my fucking head off. Even some of the smaller ones. Because that's just genetically the way they're made. Women are made to be mentally stronger. We have a lot of fortitude. That's probably why we're the ones that have the kids and the ones that are supposed to remember to take the birth control pills. We are different types of strength. We are emotionally strong. Men are physically strong. So when you have a trans woman versus a natural born woman, you are scientifically at a disadvantage. And this is not discrimination. And a way that you can level this is either testosterone or you compete trans against trans.
Yeah. Yes. That's, you know what, if there was such a debate like that, and why don't we have a trans division?
We should.
Right. Because like if
people will call that discriminatory, but you know what? In Asia, they have what's called the third sex.
Like what? Yeah. You know what? I think that's not discriminatory. I think that's more accepting. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay. So if there were no biological differences, right, there wouldn't be a WNBA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There wouldn't,
yeah.
Right? So okay, there are obviously biological differences with people who were born male and people who were born female, right?
Again,
and I'm talking from a biological standpoint. So look, in not judging the way people decide to live their lives or anything like that, but at the same time, it's looking out for like the women who have trained their whole lives for a sport, who have dedicated their whole lives, and everything is kind of, to be the best that they can be. And you know what? I don't think it's fair if one person identifies as a woman yet has much higher level of testosterone. It's the same thing as, again, using anabolic steroids. No difference.
Yeah.
It's no difference at all. And again, I say this, we're both athletes, and so to even the playing field, why don't we have like a trans division, or as you said, like a third sex or something like that, just to keep everyone happy and to keep it fair?
And, you have to think about something else too. What about all the girls and women out there who have busted their asses for scholarships? And that's their way to get to college and get ahead. And then someone who has an unfair advantage, and that's what it is, can just come along and take that after, you know what I mean? And
well, does the NCAA recognize that yet?
I honestly don't know. I do know there was a story not long ago, and I said this. I said, especially with contact sports, I said that there is going to be a situation where someone trans severely injures or kills another woman, and somebody sent me an article where it already happened, and I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, so it's safety too. It's a matter of safety.
Yep.
Because
I don't think. I mean, I was just going to say, I honestly, I think it would be so much money to have two trans women in the ring doing MMA, because there's nothing that would probably draw people more than that. You're going to have the strength and athleticism of men, the skill level of men. Because, women are fun to watch, right? But if you watch us in the ring, sometimes we're just not as crisp or as men. With a trans woman, you are going to have the best of both worlds. You are going to have somebody who has all the skill level and strength of a man, all the fucking beauty and the grace and looks of a woman. You take two trans women and build up a match or a fight with that. Oh my God. I can't believe Dana White hasn't done it already. Has he?
I don't think so. No, but no, I think that's good.
That would rock.
Absolutely, yes. And I think that gets back to the balance. People would pay to
see that. People would pay so much to see that.
Yeah. But that gets back to the balance. It's not discriminating, and we're not saying, no, just trans athletes shouldn't compete at all. We're just offering another alternative and keeping it fair for the women who truly, again, like they've put everything they have into their sport and to do what they do. And also, I want to say this, and I know like we joke about me always backtracking and like to cover my ass, but I do mean this. There's a lot of women that I get, like Serena Williams, right? Yeah, I wouldn't want to play tennis against her. You know what I mean? So like, there's obviously there are just top level women athletes.
No, but if Serena Williams had gone up against a trans,
well, yeah,
at the end of the day, she's still a natural born woman.
Yes. No, absolutely. And, look, there's exceptions to every rule, but like, and we are talking in very general terms, but then this is really, I don't want to say rule of thumb again, but, the biological differences between, those who are born male and those who are born female. And we cannot, in my opinion, completely disregard that. We can't. No. We have to be sensitive to those who are going through whatever they're going through in terms of, who and what they identify as. But we also need to keep everyone in mind. So I think, again, the balance is the key. And I would absolutely, like what you said, if Dana White promoted that, that would probably be the highest grossing UFC of all time.
Everybody would say that. And honestly, I have a lot of trans women friends, and live your best life. They are freaking gorgeous.
Yeah.
And they've gone through a lot to be who they are now. And honestly, when I say this topic, I am applying it only to sports. That's it. I mean, my trans women, they are fantastic. And I love hearing the differences about what it's like to have been both genders. It is fascinating. I would actually love to get someone on the show
that'd be great. Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm told we're out of time because you have to get on another show. So I'll leave off with saying thank you for watching us. Please follow us on Twitter. We are at _ The A Show. You can support us over on Patreon, The A Show, and watch us live over there. Or not live, sorry, but you can watch us on video over there. And we have many other shows that you can catch and lots of tips and thoughts, and we update weekly. And Aron will be at NWA in Atlanta this weekend, performing live. So if you're in the area or you want to take a road trip and get the hell out of your house for a change, go for it. And I believe I'll be on Tampa Bay Scream's Horror Con in Tampa Friday and Saturday night. So if you are in the Bay Area and you're doing spring break and want to swing by and you're not going to give me coronavirus, awesome. Thanks for watching, you guys.
Thank y'all. And please spread the word. If you like the show, tell a friend. If you don't, tell an enemy. But let's get the word out there, and really appreciate you listening.